where different entities. Before you proceed, I raised a pertinent question.
Sorry.
On Annex 4, 5, and 16, where different entities have supported that action of dumping garbage. Would you stand with that? Or because of the position that you have already taken, you apologize saying this is wrong, then this must be expunged from the records of this committee.
Chair, these statements are talking not about, no one can support the dumping. They're not in support of dumping. They're talking about the excesses of Kenya Power with respect to counties. That's the excerpt of Council of Governors statement. They highlight, number one, they say Kisumu District Hospital, 2014, power was disconnected. Dr. Ojwang protested, his pleas were ignored. Civil Registration Office, Kilifi, Mombasa General Hospital, Homa Bay, water tank inlet, intake 2023, where residents went without water for days. You know, denying people water as well is a public health concern. Migori County facilities. So these statements, I think, stand on their own. And they're by entities, especially the COG statement, it's by an entity that is recognized under law. Then the thing they say is that despite all of this, and they give an example of an individual. They say in 2024, a Professor Alfred Omenya raised concerns after receiving 2.1 million bill for a new power connection. So from there, they just say, despite all this, Kenya Power also owes. You know, the narrative out there is that governors don't want to pay for power, or we're the only ones who owe. But in my case, for instance, and I've demonstrated, and I'll give you the details of those other meters, they owe us more. That is our claim. More than thrice, more than double what we owe them. And in fact, from the 3.5 you've seen where they have signed both sides, 1.5, I've introduced now the 700 million paid by NMS, 800, compared to 5 billion. Who should go after who? if you on a balance of that. So Chair, please, I hope they will have clarity. Mheshimiwa Huku Kaunya, I think
and just try to be a bit fast so that the rest can also. We still have like a majority of members or not.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Kaluma, thank you so much for your very clear observation of what is happening and actually what the law talks about. It is something that must be investigated because I suspect when you talk about meters outside Nairobi, if you look at Annex 11, this is a document. The letterhead has the logo of Kenya Power and the logo of Nairobi County. It's a joint document. You know, it would be very easy for me when I got in to say, okay, pay that bill. I said, no, I'm a steward of taxpayers' money. You must verify. They looked at 6,734 meters. Out of the 6,734, they found 1,573 metering points without a meter. These are the areas they looked at. The active meters were 4,273. Meters with no readings of 789, and you can see the list. If you look at, and I will attach another appendix, we say that the county government was to supply contract forms for some of the metering points, but also the meters we found not being for Nairobi County. The next step would be, so how much had been paid into them previously? How much money had been paid? That needs to be refunded to Nairobi County. The only facilities that we can pay for power outside Nairobi are our facilities that we own. For instance, the water facilities I mentioned. But those are paid by Nairobi Water. So if it's Ndakaine Dam, if it is Kigoro, Ngevu water treatment in Gatundu, Nyandarua, Sasumwa, Kiambu, you know, Ruiru Dam, and that is different. But this you find a butchery somewhere. Who owns that butchery? So you might find possibly somebody who has access within that system, putting in their entities. Mulipue na kanjo stima yenu. Is that right for the people of Nairobi? No. And so we must get to the bottom of this, because that is also criminal. You know, that is also a criminal activity. It is obtaining using false pretenses. It is forgery. It is completely wrong. So that meter verification exercise was done. You can see the signature. The first signature is Engineer Kioma. That is an engineer from the county government of Nairobi in the Public Works Department, Energy. And Engineer Hicks Waswa. Engineer Hicks Waswa is the regional director of Kenya Power for Nairobi. He's a Nairobi Kenya Power boss, you know. And we said the accounts not in the Nairobi county government name be removed from our bill schedules. Chair, if I go to the next issue, he asked about what provoked the action. It was just the demand. You know, we don't respond out of emotion. Yes, but you know, you might feel bad that you owe me much more, I owe you little, but you keep cutting it. But you don't retaliate in government. In government, you don't retaliate in that manner. And which is why, you know, at the end of the submission, I wanted to correct the notion, even in the letter, that it was about electricity bills, it was about retaliation. That is wild, wild west. You know, if government was to run like that, if I go to ask for my bill tomorrow from the IG, my officers will be shot. You know, or if I go and ask DOD owes us a lot of money. They owe us 120 water bill, 120 million. Department of Defense. The rates they owe us. The Supreme Court ruled the other day that Embakasi Garrison belongs to the county. Can I kick out DOD? They'll bomb us. Government doesn't behave like that. You know, we sit on the table, we say these are our claims, these are your claims. Where do we swap? Where do we, you know, exchange? You know, because that's how we should operate. So that's why this is an isolated event. The issue of monopoly of KPLC, you know, I don't want to speak against them, but to a great extent there's been abuse. I think all of you have cases, even of your constituents, who tell you that they ask you, your bill is this amount, pay fast. You know, there's no negotiation. A new connection. How do you get a new connection when already you're being charged? So I know the issues, and I have a lot of respect, especially for the new MD. The new MD, Engineer Siror, is an amazing guy. He's a Christian. As a person. But sometimes you have officers. You know, I'm here today discussing the action of somebody pressing a button in a truck, throwing garbage. I was possibly dealing with an issue of health somewhere else. I'm a governor. I have a CEC. I have ministries. I have chief officers. Today, Honorable, my friend from Kirinyaga, Gitari, is here on an issue of an officer who has done something wrong in Kirinyaga. But it's the IG who has to answer for it. The IG has not sanctioned that officer to go beat up people or do whatever he's doing with a metal bar. But that is what you call organizational responsibility vis-a-vis personal culpability. I was not driving that truck, but that is my officer. And so that is why we're taking the action. So we're in good stead with the commercial issues. We have Intergovernmental Relations Committee. They joined us in that meeting at OP. If we're not able to agree, the last resort will be to go commercial, because I cannot also just sweep under the carpet money or to Nairobi. Nairobians want services. You keep telling them, Sakaja, remove Dimples from the road. Fill those potholes. How will I fill them? If people are not paying their fair share, how will I fill them? Everyone needs to pay their fair share, and especially government to government. I think finally, Mheshimiwa Rosa Buyu, that's the question you're asking. You know, I said it will not happen under my watch. It does not happen. What stops these things from happening is an emphatic statement from the top leadership of the institution. I'm sure all my staff are listening. They know that, and we've always told them, you know, when we came in, we said, our intention is to create a city of order, dignity, hope, and opportunity. When you get an institution that has existed for so long, and staff who have been there for so long, organizational change and culture change takes time. Today, I'm telling you, Nairobians will tell you that the running battles that used to be there between city council officers and hawkers have never happened in the last 2 years. Matatus have not struck once in the last 2.5 years. It used to be every 2 weeks. It used to be every year. The county government, Mheshimiwa Aduma will tell you, there was even a police post in the county assembly. Gunshots, people fighting with chairs. Have you heard any of that? No. Because we said for us to give people dignity, we start internally by changing how we operate, changing how we speak to each other. And so even it might falter once in a while, because you cannot control 20,000 people's behavior. You don't know where they've come from, what stress somebody might have, what happened at home, mental health issues. But you just keep affirming it as you move along that, please, this is not how we do. When I issued the statement last Thursday, I said, this is not how Nairobi does its thing. And that's the leadership from the top. That's why individuals must, answer for what they've done. The county secretary is saying, the interdiction being on the same date, I think that must be a coincidence. If you look at the letter of interdiction, it says, following preliminary investigations. You can't just interdict at a whim. Somebody must say, no, this is the person who told me to dump. Or somebody must say, this is this is what happened. And immediately the case happened, the director of investigations was tasked to get on it. By the time now it came back to the county secretary, was that 27th, the same day, that it was debated in Parliament. Remember, the previous day it was debated in the Committee of Energy, led by Honorable Kawaya. They actually had deliberated upon it. And of course, theirs is to protect their entity. I'm not imputing any motive, but the folly of a one-sided story, the folly of the one-sided story. I had a member of Parliament who is in ICT just focusing on the fiber cables. But when you bring us together, then everybody gets the full context. The county secretary's statements, that is the final question, Chair, saying that they will remove the garbage when KPLC payers. I think that could have, I don't want to say it's taken out of context. What it meant was the trucks. The trucks would be removed once there's an engagement. Because the trucks are there on enforcement. The problem was the dumping, remember. But clamping down a building is perfectly within the law. Completely. There's a building just down here around Koinange that the county closed and got tenants to start paying us rent for almost a year to recover it. There is the property owned by the Koinange family as well, near Taifa Lane, where, having not had paid rates, we clamped it down. And we started getting revenue from them. That is what you passed here. And by the way, I thank you so much. That law will help counties actually get the resources they need to serve the people. I'll leave it at that, Chair. Thank you. Sorry for taking time. I'll be briefer next time.
DIG or IG, I think there was some question directed to you.